Hi and welcome to the Mark's Motivational Podcast, another Music Sunday. Today I'm delighted to be joined by another a rap artist as well, Joe. I met Joe through the open mics as well. He goes to a great open mic that I go to. It's part of the Smithfield Collective. It's in Tampa Bar. The name escapes me at the moment. You probably help me out there, Joe.
Yeah,
But
it's the Wild
yeah,
Duck.
the
The
Wild Duck.
venue's the
That's
Wild
it.
Duck, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Smithfield Creatives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, great stuff. So, Joe, thanks a lot for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sound. So, we'll probably start off the podcast. If you want to tell the listeners and the people watching on YouTube a bit about yourself and your journey as an artist.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I'll start as the artist. So, yeah, as you said, I'm a rap artist. I do yeah, I don't do much singing, maybe a chorus here or there, but
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, I've been writing songs for a number of years, but I have only really gotten into performing in the last yeah, it's nearly 2 years since we first opened mic, but particularly in the last year where I took a bit of a sabbatical from work, it's allowed me to get more out on the live scene and yeah, really practice I guess the craft and find me sound a bit and yeah, so I've really enjoyed that. Smithfield Creatives has been the main one. That's the one I've gone to most, and I've gone to another couple of showcases, hip hop showcases, and things like that. One in a couple in the rhythm and poetry one in Crowbar, and I did Breaking Sounds back in October, which was that was a big milestone for me. Did a 25-minute set, had a lot of people that know me there, my fans, small, so 23 tickets or something. So that was great. It was and if I never do anything else in music, I'd be happy with having got there because this is more than I'd ever thought. I never really thought about being a musician. I had fantasies about being a musician as a young person. That often does. I've been a big music fan my whole life. Not just rap music, certainly rap music. First CD I bought was Eric B. and Rakim, paid in full. My best friend Trev and I bought it together. When we were about 12, I think. I remember us in the Blanchardstown Centre picking it up and coming back to the house and sticking it on. Yeah, so grew up in Blanche, born in a place called Corduff and Blanche in the 80s. And yeah, grew up there. And then, yeah, I guess it was kind of, there was always music in the house, but not playing, just uh, you know, good, good collection of music. My parents would have been good into music. And I had a lot of stuff like Dylan and Cohen and the Beatles, and then I've three older brothers, so yeah, I'm the youngest of four, and a lot of musical influence from my older brothers as well. But I guess although my older brother Aiden was into a bit of more old school hip hop, like the likes of De La Soul and stuff like that, it was I and my next brother, the one closest to me, Vinny, who are really got into the rap music, especially the 90s stuff, Nas being our favorite, Tupac, DMX, that kind of stuff. But everything we had so there's like a core group of us, my brother Vin and my two mates, Trev and Graham, we had at least 200 albums, I'd say, that we built up over a couple of years in hip hop, that is. But yeah, we were big into Oasis, all the B-sides, and yeah, uh, Stone Roses, the whole Manchester scene. As depending on the year it was, we did, lot of covered a lot of stuff there. Got into the raving then. When we kind of got old enough to start going out clubs and that to Temple Theatre, and yeah, I like to reference that stuff in some of the music as well. Um, but yeah, how I got it. So back then, I would have been imagining myself more as a rock star, but I didn't never played instruments. I didn't really think that was for people like me. I don't know. So never really considered it. But I was always into wordplay, even doing like cryptic crosswords, with my dad, and then just kind of puns. And I was always a sing along and a rap along of it. Like I have a very good memory for facts, figures, and lyrics, and a decent ear for a tune as well. Although I didn't really get a singing voice till I was in my thirties, I think. Not that it's great, but I just assumed I was a terrible singer, a shower singer. But it kind of started to come together at some point. Yeah, so but never picked up an instrument or anything like that, sadly. But no, I was into boxing and carrying on, and yeah, I mean. I was in a lot of trouble when I was younger. It was quite a chaotic upbringing, I'd say, and a lot of stress. And yeah, it wasn't until my sort of mid-teens that I started to kind of yeah grow out of that, and I started boxing at 15, and um, met a great mentor there, and started applying myself in school. I'd been suspended a million times, expelled once, that kind of stuff. But I actually have a very high IQ, and I was very good at maths, so I did enough to get into university, and then yeah, started to sort of I guess grow and yeah. So I went on, did a degree in maths, and then I came back later and did a PhD. And the average Joe name is sort of a play on the mathematical side of average. And if I ever get an album out, it's going to be called Meaner Than the Average, which I'm very happy about.
Brilliant, yeah.
I'm working towards that.
Yeah,
But
great stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Any questions there? I mean, so yeah, on the music thing, never wrote a few little rhymes when I was younger, more like what you might call poems, although I hesitate to even call them that, but maybe about festival experience, or a little ditty on the way to a sleighing one time, or that kind of thing. But yeah, how I actually got into the rhyming was funny. So I got married in 2018. Now my wife and I actually have our anniversary today. We met 19 years ago today, but we put off getting married wasn't a big thing for us. We did that much later, and yeah, at the wedding, uh, my best mate from college, he who lives in Germany now, he's like meeting up with a bunch of lads from Cabra and Blanche that are my mates from home, and he was a vegan at the time, and the other guy was like a personal trainer, and they started having a uh, a lively discussion about protein, this kind of stuff. Anyway, the upshot was that uh, me PT friend Paul and a bunch of us decided we would try the vegan diet for a month just as a challenge. And towards the end of that, I was run down the canal. I'm big into running as well, but the lyrics for "Meat as a Treat," which is the first song I ever wrote, started just coming to me, and it just started. Enough of it started to coalesce, so we started to actually make this could be a song, or a whole verse, and then just kind of got to it from there, and then yeah, just kind of start going from there. And at the time, I'd just be like writing it into WhatsApp groups with a couple of lads as a joke, maybe doing a bit of a cappella, and never thinking about going anywhere with it, just something to make me mates laugh, really, at that
yeah,
point.
yeah,
So that's 7 years ago. So it took 5 years from that to actually get up and perform that same song just to a generic drum beat that I pulled off GarageBand in Smithfield Creatives, which was running in the Bernard Shaw at that time. So yeah, grateful to Adam and crew for that. And yeah, that was just before my 40th birthday, literally 2 days before my 40th. I was like, I have to get this done, or I'll really regret,
yeah, yeah.
And it's a very nerve-wracking experience. I know anyone who's done it will tell you the same. And
And that's your first song, Joe, is it? That's the first song you put together. And
that's the first song I wrote. Yeah.
yeah, and what would be the if you could recommend for you're going to share the links with me, but for
Yeah.
people that haven't checked your stuff out, what's the go-to song for people to check out for you that you'd
Yeah,
recommend?
absolutely. I'd say the one that has the broadest appeal and probably is the best song I've written is called Social Media,
Yeah, it's great too.
which is about problematic internet use in general. So and it's really well produced. Like the so I'll introduce Vlad. He's the producer that I was very thankful to be introduced to by our friend Harry, also known as the Top Brownie. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the second time I ever went to Smithfield Creatives, context being that when I was working full time, I could never get it together in of a weekday evening to even attempt to do something like that. So, um, after my first performance, that was it. Then I just didn't go back for say 5 months, and it was August, and I said, "Oh, I'll just go down, and I won't even perform. I just need to go down and get back, into the scene." So I went down, and that was when I first saw Harry performing, and I approached him at the interval and said, "Oh, do you make your beats? They sound great." And he said, "No, this guy Vlad does it for me," and or they work together on it. So that's how I got going. That was a massive. It's one of those real serendipitous moments where that encounter. led me to Vlad. 2 months later, I had three songs on Spotify, and the beats are really, really good. And now looking back, maybe it was premature because when I listen back, I'm not really not happy with the vocal performance on those, and I'm busy re-recording them. I've actually re-recorded almost everything that I've previously released, and I'll be re-releasing all of that. Vlad is doing the mix on the vocals as well, and I'm recording them in Darkland Studio with Don Doherty, and yeah, so but sorry, that was a bit of a digression, but. So Vlad is doing the beats. He's a Ukrainian guy, and yeah, we do it remotely. It's a bit of a process, but I think there's real value in building the beat up from nothing with the lyrics, rather than just finding a beat and kind of matching to it. So, you know, uh, it might start, I might have something a cappella, maybe a little bit of melody like the chorus for Plastic Fantastic, or say for No Panic, I drew out a little beat pattern. I have very, very basic Ableton Live skills, and but just something to get going, a ref track, a mood. But he can take it from there and really make something. And then we iterate, and we're down to just like carving out little pieces, or yeah, just swapping out small bits, So there is that iterative process, but the results are good. So anyway, social media, that's the track I would lead with, Um,
You know, it's really good. I remember hearing that night in the Wild Duck. It's
I
really really
thought.
good, like, and I got a great response. Like, and like, do you find as well? The open mics are a great way to meet people. To kind of like you said, uh, um, Harry to introduce you to the guy that could produce the music. It's really handy. Like, and do you have any gigs coming up you'd like to mention, Joe, for people that are watching for the checkout?
Just at the moment in the calendar, we have the Smithfield Creatives on Thursday. I didn't do anything in December or so far this year, so I'm looking forward to getting back. And I have a new
Yeah,
song, No Panic, which I released last week, which I've done once or twice live, but I'll definitely be doing that. Hoping to get Sinead again. I did a 20-minute in Sinead there before Christmas. That was really good. And yeah, I'm really what I like to do is do something another like round of that of the breaking sound. So where you get a good half an hour slot and uh, sell tickets and things like that. Not that it's about the money, but it's more about that's something that I could really advertise, and say,
yeah,
come out because it's just for a 10-minute slot, it's I wouldn't inviting all my mates down for anything like that. But
yeah.
hopefully, sometime this year I can do an album launch. I'm working towards 10 tracks. I've got seven done and a couple more in the process. New one, well, it's lyrics are much almost written. It's called NIMBY. So more sort of a lot of my stuff is that kind of topical, societal with, but leaning towards trying to be humorous, number one. I like complex lyrics and wordplay. Social media is quite more the serious one. Plastic Fantastic and Me as a Tree they're they're serious, but they're joking as well. They're sort of tongue in cheek, satirical, but it's not all that. I think I remember after writing Me as a Tree and Plastic, and maybe one that I haven't released yet called Prohibition. I was kind of stuck, and thinking more about, well, what can I write about, topic wise. But then I was watching the documentary Hip Hop Evolution, and I just remember that hip hop doesn't have to be about anything. You can just write something that has clever lyrics and braggadocio, classic hip hop stuff. So that led me to write a song that I really love performing, which is of Men and Mikes, and it is just that kind of hip hop braggadocio, which I have time for too. Not everyone's cup of tea, so I guess different parts of the stuff I have would appeal to different kind of people. But I think it lands live, and yeah, another song I wrote was more of a nostalgia riff, but it's very much about getting up to shenanigans as youths and all that, and
Yeah.
and sort of rave culture and growing up, and that was one that was inspired a lot by thinking about the speech for my best friend's wedding, as I was the best man. So sort of with that approach, and I was kind of thinking about. Now, none of the song actually made it into the speech. That probably wouldn't be appropriate, but it was a good inspiration anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so that one's called Brothers. Yeah, proud of that one. have a new remix of that coming along with a much better delivery, I hope. And yeah, and yeah, it's the
Like, a lot of your stuff is
journey of
on
doing that
Spotify,
live.
Joe, as well, isn't it? A lot of
Say
your
again.
stuff is on. Sorry, a lot of your stuff is on Spotify,
Yeah,
and then anywhere
Spotify,
else to
YouTube
get your
Music.
yeah
Yeah,
YouTube
YouTube
music as
Music and
well.
Spotify are the two that I
Yeah,
tend to share. Like
yeah,
DistroKid just puts them out on a bunch of different
right.
platforms.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think between those two,
mm,
that covers most. Some people sub for Apple as well, so they'd be on Apple Music, but I think that's a minority. Uh, yeah, but yeah, it sounds like some of the tracks, particularly Brothers and Me as a Tree, are really hard to deliver live because they're so dense and long, and like there's a double verse, 2 minute verse at the end of Brothers. But going into the like recording a space, or sorry, renting a space like in Pirate just for rehearsal and just standing in front of the mic and me on for an hour doing take after take after take has been uh very rewarding, and yeah, it's kind of like I'm determined to be able to do it live, and that's what's brought the sound on. I think that now I want to actually re-record everything and do a better job of it, and yeah, make those be the sort of the versions that go into the album, and get them properly
yeah.
mastered and stuff. So
And how do you find collaborating with other artists as well, Joe? Do much of collaborating with writing songs, lyrics, and rap
not so
tracks?
far. Like
Yeah,
the exception. So Harry had an idea for a track, and we've done a couple of brainstorming
mm,
sessions on it. And
yeah,
yeah, I hope it comes to something. It's kind of the theme is sort of loosely, about partying in your 40s, or just that kind of bit, how it's different in your 40s, the ups and downs, I guess, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, a good block of lyrics there for that, and yeah, hopefully, we've both been quite busy, but hoping to get back to that, and you might see that sometime on the streaming platforms. Yeah, and
great stuff.
yeah, we like it to be a real good live piece where we can do it, like do a duet, but either of us could do it solo as well would be good, and then but have something you could dance to. I think that's
Brilliant. Yeah,
yeah, I think putting on a good live show is for me the most rewarding and important part of it,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I can
Um,
feel it.
I wouldn't be that great at the social media self promotions and that kind, I'm just trying to work on the material, number one. And oh, we did make a music video though.
Oh,
And
very
and I,
good.
I
Yeah,
did collaborate with a musician, but not musically. He's also a video producer and filmer. That's Aaron, who I met at the Wild Duck as well. So that's another example of just meeting people through the open
yeah,
mic
definitely.
and,
Yeah,
and,
it's
and stuff
great.
coming out of it. So yeah, there's a video for Plastic Fantastic which you can find on YouTube, and I
Yeah, if
think
you
it's
share all of them
has
for me, like,
universal acclaim.
yeah, yeah, share them all with me. I can put them up for
Yeah,
you.
we'll
Yeah.
do.
And
Yeah,
what do you hope to have happen with your rap going forward? Joe, what would you like to accomplish
yeah.
going forward with your art?
Well, as I said, yeah, an album would be great. Not that an album means a lot these days. It's just a playlist, I suppose. But
Yeah, yeah,
something that I can call a collection and really be proud of. The way I see the writing going is that I won't be very prolific because um I know I think each song is sort of fairly unique and requires, it sort of requires inspiration. I'm not great at just sitting down and say, right, try and write something, put something together. When I have ideas, I just try to jot them down. I often fail to do that, and they never come back. You think I'll remember that, and then you just don't. It's a blank, especially
yeah, yeah,
in the 40s. But yeah, I have a couple of teams there that are half written and should, at least some of them should definitely end up as full songs. So if we can get to that, that'd be great. And the other thing, be a dream to just do like half an hour at a festival,
yeah,
with
class.
our
Yeah,
voices or something, or Beyond the Pale. I've applied to Beyond the Pale, fingers crossed. And yeah, like the other voices stage an EP or something, that seems very within reach.
brilliant.
Or
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, the Irish Music Week as well. I'm definitely gonna go for that, and things like that. Yeah, obviously it's natural to fantasize about millions of streams and all of that, but I think that's a road to disappointment if you're kind of wedded to that. But yeah, I suppose one way that I'm fairly different. Well, it's never going to be the day job for me. I'm coming at it from, have it. I had a long, well-established career in finance, actually coming out of the maths, and I did that for 11 years. Very intense, very
Mm.
a lot of fun as well. But I quit that in March, and I've been off since, and that's given me a bit of bandwidth to, get out and perform um and work on things. But I have to go back soon, so I don't know what my bandwidth is going to be like come
Yeah,
May this year or so. But at least, I think I've done enough of it live that it's not like a really daunting experience.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not nearly as nervous as I was. So,
Great.
just
Yeah,
going out on a school night and getting up isn't such a daunting experience, and then it doesn't lead to so much adrenaline and all that, and you won't be as exhausted afterwards. So I hope to keep it going. Basically, is what I'm saying. Even when I go back to
yeah.
work.
Well, you
Uh,
get a great response off the crowd in the Wild Duck and anyway time we see you. So well done with that. And have
that's
you ever looked at, like just yourself, have you looked at like artists like Eminem and all that kind of stuff and how they kind of made it, you know what I mean? Have you kind of investigated that sort of things?
I can't say I have investigated now, like with that purpose in
Sure.
mind. I suppose I mentioned the documentary earlier, and just
Yeah.
just knowing some of their backstories. I mean,
Mhm.
but I guess relevant to that question is that I always felt like, well, yeah, when I was young, like of the age that say Nas or Eminem were coming up, they
Yeah.
had a whole scene around them that just didn't exist. There what like hip hop. So now I feel like I sort of missed out on that, and I I would like to be sort of plugged into maybe a collective or something like that. Because they do exist now. Obviously Irish hip hop is having a moment, and
Mhm.
uh, and there is a lot more of that. But I'm a lot older. It's harder just to make new friends and spend the kind of time that younger people
True.
do. Being a young person and part of a collective, you can imagine that creative atmosphere. If you think of like like the Wu-Tang, they're all just sitting
Mhm.
around all day, days on end, probably just spitting bars and or going to battle raps and all that kind of stuff. Like that's I guess the likes of Eminem would have been out and battle rapping every day of the week, and Nas would be spitting bars on street corners, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
all day, every day. So yeah, that's how to sort of try to recreate that or manifest that in some way. It's uh, not obvious. Yeah, I suppose obviously the open mic scene has been great for getting up and performing, but obviously it's generally like singer-songwriter, acoustic, a different style of music. Now I'm very grateful that they're open and welcoming with the hip hop artists. But yeah, but it's the other, the more like on the creative side, like maybe the experience of sitting around people and just with that in mind. Um, yeah, I just bounce lyrics off some of my friends, who are into rap and all that, and get feedback that way. That is one way that I use people around me, but they're not writers themselves. Yeah.
I get you, yeah. Yeah, because look, you kind of sparked a thought in my mind there because I write songs as well, as you know.
Mm.
Um, and I was thinking, like, would you ever think of maybe writing for other artists? Is that ever something that you've been thinking about, or down the road? Is that ever crossed your mind? Or
Yeah, it has. In a couple of ways, I suppose. One is that, you know, I did hate my voice at the start. That's I guess very common, and I would have. That's one way in which I imagined other people perform the lyrics that I've written, and then other lyrics. There are lyrics that I've written that I'll probably never perform because, uh, that I'd be happy for others to perform, but like, you know, uh. because rhymes just come to you. It's not like a big part of my like. It's like part of your brain is just delivering them to you, and then you can write them down or not, or decide something to do with them. But it's sort of something that's out of your control to a large extent, and you can't just do on tap or recreate it, you know. So uh, there is this kind of sense of being more of a conduit to it, and the flip side of that is that I can appreciate my own music. I can look at something and think, oh, I'm really happy with that. It was, you know, it was delivered to me in some way, and I feel lucky about that. But I can also objectively sort of say, almost appreciate it, like as an observer or someone that he didn't actually write it. But yeah, so some of the things that come to me, I wouldn't necessarily. I just can't see them fitting in the song. Like I might have a few bars, but that I really like, but they're not some. I don't. It's hard to see how they'd fit into a full song that I would put down. Um, yeah, because I guess I wouldn't write just a song for the sake of writing a song, just so that you know it's a
Yeah,
song, you know, and just kind of like
yeah,
glue together a bunch of things that aren't related, just because
yeah. I know.
you
Yeah,
know. So a lot of rap is can sound great and still and even though it's kind of nonsense, um, which is fine, but it's probably not my style. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
now you mentioned earlier on as well, Joe, that like you've worked in a kind of a dance tune, have you? How's that gone for you? How did that go?
Sorry, what I was saying was that I was hoping that like the song that Harry and I were thinking about would be more have a more of that kind of beat because one
Yeah.
thing
Okay.
one thing that's quite striking about a bit of a lot some of Irish hip hop, let's say, particularly kneecap, but not just that, is you know, a lot of the beats are actually like dance music, BPM.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, especially live.
Mm.
You know, love to see
It's
Kneecap
good.
live. Seen him a couple of times, and it's obvious why to me is that like rave culture is a big part of Irish culture, and that's what you know. That was what people did when I was young, and a bit later as well. You're right. Like obviously, Kneecap are a lot younger than I am, but you know, that's kind of the rap has kind of come later than that. And whereas if you think about like New York hip hop, they didn't, there was no background of sort of dance music or electronic music for them, really, you know, in the
Yeah.
same way that
Yeah.
it was here. And so, yeah, the fact that, uh, you know, that kind of music is so popular with, uh, with Irish people for the last 30 years
Yeah. Big time.
that's influenced then the people who are writing the hip hop, obviously. Yeah, and it's no surprise then that you get that kind of crossover. And yeah, I'd like to do a song like that because
Like
yeah.
even something like the House of Pain was great, weren't they? The House of Pain were great in the day.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. They had that kind of
Yeah.
uh, energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Well, Joe, listen, it's great to talk to you, and I wish you all the success going forward, everything you do with your great music.
Yeah, thanks very much,
Yeah.
Mark.
Is there anything else you'd like to share before we go tonight? Is kind of for people that are listening anything to look out for or any open mics? I know you go to the Wild Duck on a Thursday, but is there any other ones that are coming up just for people to check out?
So there's the Wild Ducks are there on Wednesday. Oh, there's a new competition that Adam is running. So there's going to be a new format in the Wild Duck, which I'm looking forward to, where the audience will vote. Uh,
Oh, very good.
you know, I'm not. Yeah, I've just read I've put my name in the hat, and I've read the Instagram posts. So that should be interesting. And yeah, I would like to do the songwriter circle just to because that's
Yeah,
another forum where you can get feedback on the music.
yeah,
And yeah, yeah, the regular slots will be the Smithfield Creatives and the Wild Duck, and yeah, Shin A as well. I'll hopefully get a Tuesday, and yeah, if anyone wants to follow me, it's average Joe underscore rap, and that's where you know if I had it something like Shin A coming up, I'd post it. Yeah, that's a good night to go to for sure.
yeah,
Sadly, it's on a Tuesday, but that's the only bad thing about it. It's really great
yeah,
otherwise.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and fingers crossed if I do get a festival or I am doing an
Mm,
album launch, I'll be shouting it from the
yeah.
rooftops.
Well,
With
well,
me
yeah,
your Instagram following of 100 and something people. But yeah,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, definitely share it here. Like, and give it to me, and I can put it on the show notes. Anything that's happening for you, I can put it up there, Joe, for you. You know.
that's much appreciated, Mark. You're doing great work there for the community, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's and encourage anyone. You know, what I've been really surprised, I guess, or pleasantly surprised with is just the quality of music you see at the open mics, you know,
yeah,
and
big time.
that's just
Yeah,
a bit of
yeah,
naivety, I'll admit, you know, but you know when you go to something for the first time and you know everyone there is basically an amateur. Yeah, you get blown away sometimes by some of the things. So definitely recommend that scene to anyone who's kind of a music fan or thinking about doing something for themselves as well. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's nerve-wracking the first time or the first few times, but certainly zero regrets doing that, and certainly would have a lot of regrets not doing it. So yeah.
big time. Yeah, no, no, well done. It's great stuff you do. So brilliant, and look forward to meeting you next time at the gigs.
Yeah, hopefully see you soon
Yeah,
in person, Mark.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so thanks a lot, Joe. It's great. So, average show, everybody, make sure to check out all the links I'm going to put up on the show notes. I'm going to put all his links to check out all his great music. So, thanks again, Joe, and all the best. And we'll see you next time on Mark's Motivational Podcast. Take care. Thank you.
Beautiful,
Great
Mark.
stuff.
Thanks. Bye.